I'm here with Captain Wendell Brunk of the Seattle Area Vessel Assist. Wendell, why don't you tell us what exactly is Vessel Assist?
Well, Vessel Assist is kind of like AAA for the water. If somebody's boat breaks down, if they need a jump start, they need fuel delivered, we're there usually within about 35 minutes to an hour.
Now, on the West Coast, it's the Boat US Vessel Assist program.
That's correct.
It has a different name on the East Coast?
That's right. It's Towboat US on the East Coast.
Towboat US.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, tell us about your boat. It's an interesting old boat you got here.
Yeah, this is a 1993 26-foot Shamrock. It's a full skeg inboard engine, 210 Cummins, turbo diesel. Scoots along at about between 20 and 22 knots. My cruising speed is usually between 12 and 14 because I get quite a bit better fuel economy there. But yeah, it's a workhorse. It's got a cup prop, so if you put it in gear, you better mean it because it's going.
Is this boat fairly typical of the kind of boat that Vessel Assist and Towboat US uses?
It is.
So tell us a little bit about how did you get from cradle to Towboat US captain or Vessel Assist captain?
That's a very long story.
Well, let's start.
I started out boating in probably an 8-foot pram out in front of my great uncle's place on Puget Sound, just rowing around, catching weird-looking fish. And then all through Boy Scouts, I took all of the boating programs that they offered, joined the Coast Guard Auxiliary, and became boat crew qualified for about 10 years there. And finally decided the only place that really makes me happy is to be out on the water. So I went and got my captain's license, and within about 3 months of getting my captain's license, I got a call from Vessel Assist, and they asked me if I wanted to go drive an assist boat. So
how long have you been a Vessel Assist captain?
I've been a Vessel Assist captain now for 2 years.
And what is your area of operation?
My area of operation is here in Puget Sound, from the locks over to the Kitsap County, south to the north end of Vashon, and north to the south tip of Whidbey.
So Wendell, how many calls do you respond to during the typical boating season, say from late May to October?
Usually, 5 or 6 a week, and sometimes 2 or 3 a day, just depending upon the day and what's going on. What's
the most common call you get? The most often you get the call, my
battery is dead and I'm at Blake Island. Because folks forget to isolate their starting battery from the rest of the batteries, and they get up in the morning to start the boat and nothing happens. Or they have a dead battery bank and didn't realize it because with it on the charger at the dock it works fine. So yeah.
Have you ever gone to assist another Vessel Assist operation already going on, or have you ever needed help taking care of a situation that you were called to?
There's always that situation where Murphy loves boaters, and there's always something that goes on.
Have there been any dangerous or hazardous kind of operations that you've had to help with?
Oh, absolutely.
Anything turned into a threatening situation?
Well, anytime you leave and it's a small craft or a gale warning, then there's dangerous situations taking place.
And of course, that's when you're going to get your calls.
That's when we're going to get our calls.
Conditions out there start getting challenging.
Right.
What steps would you advise recreational boaters to take to avoid ever having to call you?
First of all, have your boat inspected by a member of the Power Squadrons or the Coast Guard Auxiliary to make sure you have all of your proper safety gear. Also, take a safe boating class. Learn how to protect yourself and how to be wise out on the water. And thirdly, use a few general rules like the third out, third back, and third in reserve for fuel management. That's just an excellent way to make sure that you don't have to call me to come out and check your and bring you fuel. The other thing is make sure that you check your fuel gauge. I had 3 or 4 fuel runs last year where the guy says the fuel gauge says I have a full tank. Well, you have to use a few different tools to determine your fuel usage, not just the fuel gauge. And then the other thing is just make sure you're maintaining your boat.
So you've made the call, and Vessel Assist is going to be there in 30 minutes or 45 minutes.
Clear the decks. Make sure that the decks are clear and ready for a boat to come alongside to assist. Hang some fenders out. You know, if you've only got enough fenders from one side, talk to your vessel assist skipper. He'll tell you which side he's going to come up on.
Do you have some lines ready?
Usually we use our own lines. So make sure that the cleats are clear.
Okay.
Yeah, get all of the... And make sure that you can go forward and aft on your boat in a fairly expeditious manner. If you've got to jump over kayaks and other gear on the deck, that it's not helpful. It's not helpful to you, and it raises your stress level.
So clear decks.
Obviously
decks. Good seamanship to have your decks clear enough to move forward and aft.
Absolutely.
And you're going to want to have those, if you're drifting, when you show up, you're going to want to have the cleats clear, the dock lines taken off so that you can tie your lines to the cleats.
Right. And I always use my lines. I have no idea the condition, and plus that you wouldn't believe some of the things people use for dock lines. Polypropylene is not appropriate for dock lines. And so I will use my lines, which are in good condition, in good working order, properly seized, with, you know, the big loop end is usually connected, and I'll usually pass the loop to the boater, because then they can just hook it on their boat. They don't have to worry about, you know, knowing how to tie a knot.
We could do a whole video on lines alone, I know.
Absolutely.
In fact, I've got some stuff in the works. I may just, you know, I won't add it to this one though.
Okay.
But my experience has been similar. People's lines are in bad condition. They're too short. They're too light.
Yes.
That sort of
People want to sign up for Vessel Assist. They can go into their local West Marine store.
He's just taking over on me here, you know? So, Captain Wendell, how do we sign up for Boat US or Towboat US?
I'm glad you asked that question.
Vessel Assist.
You can sign up for Vessel Assist at your local West Marine, or you can go online to www.boatus.com. Either way.